Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there. Warning, everyone, this whole episode is going to be a big splash zone. Not to be get close to the ocean, but all right. All right, welcome back to another episode of Marvel Tales Atlantis Attacks Part 3. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, I am the god of help. Oh, someone's going to sue me for trademark infringement.
Justin Yell rising from the depths of Atlantis for Part 3.
We'll call him the dependent. All right. That's right. Part 3 of Atlantis Attacks, this time from Amazing Spider-Man Annual 23 and The Punisher Annual 2.
Yes.
And like we said last time, that Spider-Man Annual will have special guest She-Hulk. The Punisher Annual will have special guest Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, my favorite hero. And I am pleased as punch about that.
I don't see any feedback from the high priest of corn and sausage anywhere.
Well, Ray and I actually discussed this issue in detail on Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
I did hear that episode. Yes.
Yeah, I had asked him a while back. I said, did you ever cover that Punisher Annual, the Atlantis Attacks one? And I think he said something like that he had, but it had been a long time since he had covered it. And I thought, well, let's talk about that because I love that one.
Well, that's the thing. It's been a while, but Lilith and I covered this Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, you did?
So both episodes, one of us have at least covered this thing before. So yeah,
that's funny.
All right, so
I
know I wanted to bring up to you. So, we are recording this Saturday of San Diego Comic-Con weekend.
Yes.
Did you see the news? We're getting a new West Coast Avengers book.
I did see that. And the roster looks amazing.
It's Iron Man, War Machine, Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, Firestar, and Ultron.
Yeah. I wonder what that's about. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, unless wasn't he bonded to Hank Pym for a while? I'm like,
there was one Ultron that was good. Remember in the original West Coast Avengers run?
Wasn't it 12 or something?
12 or 13. Yeah. One of them, was. I guess you could say he was kind of heroic. I guess, but he definitely had more positive aspirations than the other Ultrons by comparison. Yeah, I'm very curious about that. But I was happy to see Firestar back.
Yes. Oh, I'm always down for Firestar. Yeah.
In the Avengers.
The Ultron, I'm like, wasn't he bonded to Hank Pym for a while? Was he just like, I thought I was evil. But then I saw on that dude's head, and now I figured, I'm good now.
Oh, I didn't read any of that stuff when they were bonded together.
Yeah. So, it's a weird time. Oh, and then there's a whole big thing with Doom coming next year.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. What was it? World Under Doom or something like that?
One World Under Doom or something.
Yeah.
Oh. Because I believe, spoilers, kids, I believe he's becoming the new Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, God.
After Blood Hunt, I believe so.
Oh. Yeah, that's good stuff.
And if you want a nice primer, come back for Doomcember.
That's right. At the end of the year, return to Marvel Tales for Doomcember.
Well, you should return every week, but yes,
December,
that's true. Your present will be Doomcember, yes.
Yeah, all month long.
Here on other shows as well.
Yeah, all month long. A different Doom story.
Yes.
And we picked some amazing ones for that month, I must say. We've truly outdone ourselves, haven't we, Phil?
Oh, we always do. But yeah, I mean, before we jump into these issues tonight, I was like, I forgot that it'd be a while. It's like these issues this week and the ones next week. There's Atuma hasn't shown up again. It's
That's
like
true.
But then it takes him a while before he comes back.
Yeah. I think it's the Web of Spider-Man annual that he's
I
most
know he's in
prominently
there,
in.
yeah, because he's leading the Atlantean invasion force. But yeah.
In the X Factor one, he's trying to drown Jean on the cover of that.
Oh yeah.
God. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Kids, this week
It's not a tumor.
But yes, once we get the Web of Spider-Man and X Factor and all that stuff, it'll be
a tumor. Tumor. A tumor. A tumor.
That's how you say it, right?
A tumor.
All right, kids, let's lock him out of that chair. How do you summon a tumor?
A tumor.
Gotta give him that hook.
A tumor.
That's right. It's my mission. Lock him out of that chair.
Tumor.
Remind me, next Energon Universe, I gotta play that for Russell.
Yes. Russell's gonna love that.
He's gonna be like, oh yeah,
I knew you were gonna do that. One of these days, you're gonna merge.
I promised you last time. I'm
yes,
like,
I knew you were gonna do it.
Hands down. Come on. All right. So should we get to these issues?
Yes.
We act like we have a Rob. We're putting off a Rob Liefeld.
Oh,
never mind.
Yeah, well, a little bit. Truth be told, yeah.
Yes. And again, it's like the cover of Amazing Spider-Man Annual 23 was a John Byrne. I'm like, I couldn't have drawn this.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you would have.
I was so excited.
It's not like it would have had to twist his arm that much.
Well, he does do the art in the X Factor one.
Yeah. God,
so maybe it was just that he could only do one that summer. Yeah. But yeah, I remember being excited in 1989 when my 11-year-old self picked this up off the newsstand. I was like, oh, cool, John Byrne cover. Look, She-Hulk and Abomination. And then I open it and I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah, that guy. 89. It's like, oh yeah, that New Mutants guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, Amazing Spider-Man Annual 23 from September 1989. Abominations. Writer Jerry Conway and David Michelinie. So, yeah, got some. They were both the regular Spider-Man writers at the time. So yeah, the 3 books. So yeah, so you got your regular Spider-Man writers on here. Artist or penciler Rob Liefeld. All right, kids, and you need 5 inkers. You need 5 inkers to cover up a multitude of sin here. Tom DeZahn, James Brock, Gavin Curtis, Vince McCarrick, and Keith Williams.
Yeah, call in the reinforcements, folks.
5 inkers, yes. Colorist, friend of a friend, Gregory Wright. Letterer Rick Parker, and editor Jim Salicrup. All right, so yes, and of course, the first thing it says, it continued from X-Men Annual 13, which we did last week.
Yes. On
an island previously owned by the mutant named Magneto, the deviant priest Gahar oversees the construction of a massive serpent crown. He gloats over the victory the Serpent Society had in collecting a number of mystical talismans that were needed to assist in this process. Yes, once again, X-Men Annual 13 from last week.
That's right.
Soon he will use the crown to bring his master, the elder god known as Set, back to Earth, bringing about the ultimate destruction of the planet. After punishing one of his minions for dripping a molten talisman on the floor, Gwar is contacted by Lyra, She informs Gahar that her airship is nearing Colorado and that she will be reaching New York in a matter of hours. Meanwhile, in New York, Spider-Man is snapping photos of a naval fleet leaving the city. The Navy has been on alert since the Lemurian attack on the Panama Canal, which was Iron Man Annual 10 from our first episode.
Yep.
Where we lost one of our favorite biscuits, or so.
Well,
So it appeared.
temporarily.
Yes, my favorite biscuit.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it's like, the Silver Surfer kicked this whole thing off, and he's like, I'm out of this. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got stuff to do. The Kree Skrull War is going on. I'm gonna be busy with that for a while.
He is taking advantage of this opportunity. Daily Bugle City editor Kate Cushing has grown bored of photos of Spider-Man. Rushing back to the Daily Bugle, Peter is paid a generous amount for the photos. On his way out of Cushing's office, Peter is shocked to see his wife Mary Jane is waiting for him. She was visiting with Lance Bannon and Joy Mercado while waiting for her husband to show up so she can take him out for lunch. Suddenly, Kate Cushing enters the room and turns on the news. There is a report about a Lemurian airship that was responsible for breaking the Abomination out of incarceration.
Ooh.
Say that 3 times fast. All right, so yes, and the Abomination, or specifically Tyrannus in Abomination's body, has been incarcerated since Incredible Hulk Annual 15. As Joy Mercado is sent to cover the story, another commotion starts as the She-Hulk storms out of J. Jonah Jameson's office. She had come demanding an apology from the publisher for the editorial he printed, suggesting that New York's homeless population should be shipped to New Jersey. When she doesn't get the apology she's looking for, the gamma-powered lawyer storms out of the Bugle offices. Later, Peter and Mary Jane are having lunch at an outdoor cafe. There they witness a homeless person being removed for panhandling on the sidewalk. This gets Peter thinking about Jameson's editorial in the Bugle about the city's homeless problem. While Parker doesn't agree with Jonah's solution to the problem, he doesn't know what can be done. He wishes there was something he could do with his powers to help, but Mary Jane reminds her husband that he can't help everybody. Suddenly, the wall crawler's spider sense kicks in, warning him of a truck that is passing by. And of course, once again, he ignores it always. But
of course.
But yeah. Know. But yeah, that spider sense goes off.
It's ting ting tingaloo, ting ting tingaloo.
But he sees nothing dangerous about it. This truck pulls into an alley behind the site of the old mansion headquarters of the Avengers. From one of the buildings comes a number of Lemurians who open up the truck. From inside comes Lyra, as well as the subterranean ruler known as Tyrannus, who is trapped in the body of the Abomination. Lyra and Gahar have set up a device that will restore Tyrannus to his human form. As part of this process, they have captured Emil Blonsky, the original Abomination. Placing both men into the machine, they managed to restore Tyrannus' humanity while cursing Blonsky with the form of the Abomination once more. However, as a result of the energy needed to complete this process, it causes a blackout in Manhattan. The sudden blackout convinces both She-Hulk and Peter Parker to get in the costume and investigate the situation. With the transfer complete, Tyrannus is removed from the device. That's when Lyra notices that the process has turned Emil Blonsky into a mindless beast. As Gahar and his associates flee the scene with Tyrannus, the Abomination breaks free from the device and goes on a rampage in the streets. He is spotted by Spider-Man and She-Hulk, who engage the villain. As the two heroes pull innocent bystanders out of harm's way, Gahar notes the She-Hulk's tremendous strength and believes that she will be useful for the next stage of his plan. Yeah. Yes. Seth's going to wake up. He's going to wake up at attention, kids. With the innocent people out of the way, Spider-Man and She-Hulk confront the Abomination, but are not prepared to deal with his mindless brute strength. As the story hits the news, Peter Parker's Aunt May watches the reports on television and fears for her nephew's safety. Feeling him. Also seeing the report is Spider-Man's biggest fan, Flash Thompson. Thompson decides to go to the scene of the battle to see if he can help the wall crawler out. He arrives just as the Abomination collapses the wall of the building on the two heroes and flees the scene. When the She-Hulk pushes herself free from the rubble, Flash tells her where their foe went. She leaps off to find him, telling Thompson to keep an eye on Spider-Man. Following the She-Hulk is Gahar, who wishes to examine the She-Hulk's strength further. Flash Thompson. Elsewhere in the city, the Kingpin monitors events and wonders what implications this battle will have in his city. While at the office of the Daily Bugle, the staff there worry about the fate of the city. Watching the news reports from an electronics store show window, Mary Jane worries about what happened to her husband as reports about Spider-Man are not forthcoming. Meanwhile, the Abomination's rampage has taken him to City Hall Park, where he clashes with authorities. That's when She-Hulk catches up to him, saving the lives of the police officers who have arrived on the scene. Meanwhile, Flash Thompson has managed to revive Spider-Man. I wouldn't want to give me mouth-to-mouth neither.
What did you eat?
That's an Ultimate Spider Cast joke. Because every time we mention Flash, I gotta try to do a. I wouldn't want to whatever. Me neither. Once he learns where She-Hulk and the Abomination have gone, he web slings off to help. At that very moment, the Abomination strikes She-Hulk hard enough to knock her out and continues his rampage. Before the woman can recover from the blow, Gahar lands his ship so he can put the mark of Set on She-Hulk's neck and flies off. That's right, kids. Gave her the hickey of Set. When She-Hulk wakes up, she sees Spider-Man battling the Abomination and comes to his aid. Realizing that he is a greatly outmatched, Spider-Man skitters up the Brooklyn Bridge to put some space between himself and the Abomination. This is when She-Hulk tosses a rocks-on oil fueling truck at their foe. The resulting explosion sets the Abomination on fire. In extreme pain, the burning Abomination runs off the side of the bridge to the water below. However, he crashes into a tugboat, which explodes on contact.
Kind of like that scene from The Naked Gun where the guy keeps running into all those explosive factories and stuff.
Oh, yeah. The battle over, Spider-Man notices the strange mark on She-Hulk's neck, but she dismisses it as nothing more than a bruise. Spider-Man heads back home, but he has a strange feeling that things are far from over. At that very moment, at a federal prison in Washington, D.C., Tyrannus is posing as a doctor so he can get access to the notorious terrorist known as the Viper.
Yeah. Who we last saw almost blowing the brains out of Nancy and Ronald Reagan in the White House.
Oh, yes. Because in the Punisher annual next here, they do mention that riot.
Yeah.
The Washington, D.C. thing. So, So what did you think, Justin?
Well, I'll be brutally honest about the artwork. Yikes. So bad.
I know.
So bad.
All right. I was thinking about this on a scale on a scale of size 1s to size 10s. Do you think the art in this annual is better or worse or about on the same par as like the Execution or Extinction Agenda?
I think it's slightly better in this.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because there's some panels that are okay, like when the Abomination breaks out of his cage, like that's kind of cool looking, and some of the action scenes are kind of cool looking, but it's whoever the Legion of Inkers are that they hauled out for this. I mean, they really should be commended because they did a fantastic job.
Yeah. And I mean, oh god, I didn't put the cover up again. But I mean, yeah, some of these, it's like in the beginning when Spider-Man's taking pictures of the fleet and stuff. I mean, he looks good there, but then it's
like, there's like, but then if you, it's like
here, because a hunchback. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. And there's another panel where he looks exactly the same as that, where he's next to Flash.
Yeah.
And also that page where the panel where the Abomination knocks out She-Hulk, and then the panel right after that where he's looking over her, I was like, oh my god, that's atrocious.
Yeah.
He didn't even bother to put any detail onto She-Hulk. It's like, hey, inker, just throw a bunch of ink on her. Yikes. Oh, it's truly cringy.
But yeah, that cover is such false advertising.
I know, right? The story's good, though. I mean, the script is excellent. We've got David Michelinie and Jerry Conway. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with the script.
Again, you got the two regular Spider-Man writers at the
Yeah.
time, so yeah.
It's good stuff.
Mhm.
And it is a good story. I mean, I love it. The premise, She-Hulk and Spider-Man versus a rampaging abomination. It's great.
Because
But-
yeah, you usually get like a mindless Hulk. Yeah, this time you get a mindless Abomination. Yeah.
Yeah. And at one point, yeah, he actually knocks Jennifer out. Yeah. It's intense.
And it's a fun way to reset the status quo. Tyrannus is back in his own body, and
Right.
Emil Blonsky is the Abomination again.
Yeah. Yeah, I had forgotten about that Incredible Hulk annual number 15 that preceded this appearance.
But yeah,
I think that was the one with the Mike Zeck artwork.
But yeah, but that sucks for Blonsky. They're like, yeah, we need someone to transfer the Abomination to, so they don't. It's not like they just grab anyone random. Like, yeah, we grabbed Blonsky, so we're just gonna give him this again.
Yeah. And on top of it, now he's all burned up. He's all burned up and scarred from all the explosions that happened at the end of this.
He's basically mindless, and yeah, now he's been burned to crisp.
Yeah, poor guy. Can't catch a break.
All right, and the other thing about this Liefeld art, I mean, I know it was 1989, and some women had this, but not every woman had hair this big.
Yeah. Look at Mary Jane. I mean, come on.
You know what? I'll give him this. There were artists. I mean, maybe not to this degree, but McFarlane drew her with big hair. Larson drew her with big hair. I mean, so I give him, but it's like Joy Mercado. I don't think her hair was ever that big.
Yeah, no. And some of the panels with Jennifer, with She-Hulk, with her hair.
Yeah, some of the She-Hulks were pretty big. Yeah,
it's like, yeesh, did she bust out a can of Aquanet before she went into battle with the Abomination, or what? What happened here?
I mean, it seems like in this story, every female in the Isle of Manhattan went to Peg Bundy's hairdresser.
And furthermore, like, I think she had her own regular costume at this point in time, rather than this.
Yeah, didn't she? Was that the purple and white one?
I think so. It was either that or it was the one from the John Byrne series, because I think that maybe that hadn't started yet.
Yeah, but this one, it's just like a purple. It's weird. It's almost like a purple leotard, but it kind of has a collar. But meanwhile, the front's all open, so you can see the chest.
It's not consistent.
And then just some random white boots. Yeah,
it's not consistent. Yeah, I don't know. I just
like again, she doesn't look bad there. Like when she's like taking off like her lawyer clothes, you know, she kind of doing rip and shirt rip and stuff. She don't look bad there, but
still, God, you compare just the image of her on the cover to that, and it's like, God, leagues apart.
But that's the thing. I think, it's Liefeld he could have done a decent job in this issue, but I don't think he couldn't keep the quality up for some reason.
Yeah, I think they should have delegated him to some of the backup stuff.
Yeah,
because I mean, they had to haul out 5 inkers to do this, and this wasn't like a long story. This was about the length of a regular issue. That's one thing I noticed too about these annuals in comparison to the Evolutionary War ones from the previous year, was that some of those stories actually almost comprised the entire annual. With the exception of like the High Evolutionaries origin backup that continued throughout all of them. But some of them just had one story, or maybe just one other backup story that was very short.
Well, again, too, I wonder if it's because for Atlantis Attacks, we're spreading the story among more annuals this year. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, they had to be more concise with what they did in the story, in the main story, rather. Yeah.
And again, a lot of it isn't even about the whole. I mean, we do get stuff with Set. I mean, in the beginning they are working on that crown and
serpent
stuff.
Crown.
Yeah. But it's most of this is just like, okay, we hired Tyrannus, we're gonna put him back in his original body, and then at the end it's like, oh, we're gonna free Viper for her to work with us too.
Yeah. Like I said in the last episode. It was when I was reading this, I was like, wow, they are throwing everyone into this crossover.
Oh yeah.
And that continued with this. We have She-Hulk, we have Abomination, we have Tyrannus, we have the Viper, all in one issue. It's wild. I love it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like, and again, I mean, story wise, it flows great, but yeah, it's just that art is just.
God, yeah. And we've got one more too, the New Mutants Annual, which I think is, if I remember right, it's even worse. If I remember right, that one is worse. Oh God.
I'm just, and that's the thing with the art in this. It's like where some of it doesn't look bad. It's almost like it teases your eyes. Where it's like, oh yeah, look, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. No, no.
Yeah. And in the New Mutants one, it's equally a shame because they introduce this new Atlantean super team, which I always wanted to see as a kid. I was like, come on, there's got to be more superpowered people in Atlantis. Like there's like supposed to be millions of people down there. There's got to be more superpowered people. And I was always waiting for that, like an Atlantean super team that Namor could pal around with or whatever in his spare time. Yeah. And we finally got one. But because of that annual, because of how atrocious the artwork was, I'm sure that's got to be the reason. People were like, oh, those characters? Yeah, no, thanks. They only appeared one other time that I remember, and it was in a solo Avengers story with Firebird and somebody else.
I don't know if I read. I don't know if I read or not.
That's it.
But yeah. Again, it's good story, art. It's hit or miss on this thing.
Yeah. Some of the pages are okay. Some of them are not.
A lot of it. Well, yeah. I maybe not. I was almost gonna say a lot of the female faces look the same.
Yeah. And it's the same smile, the same lips, the same feet or lack thereof, the same hands. Everybody's got the same hands.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if Kingpin comes into play later, because I'm like, what's the point of doing one panel of Aunt May and then
I know.
3 panels of the Kingpin? What was the point of that?
Kingpin looking ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
But I'm just like, what was the point of that? Unless Kingpin's going to do something later on, what's the point of that?
I guess they just wanted to make it look like, this affected so many different spheres of the Marvel universe that even the bad guys were taking notice.
I guess. I mean, sometimes I almost think it makes them seem ineffectual because it's just like, oh, Kingpin's sitting here and wondering what this is going to mean for his city. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there? So are 8 million other people? Okay.
Yeah. It means you might have to start figuring out how to breathe underwater, Kingpin.
See, that should have been something like maybe even in that Punisher annual, which we're going to get to. It's like, there's like a war between the drug gangs, and Kingpin on one side, and just trying to kill the Atlanteans and stuff. Yeah.
He doesn't want these Lemurian snake people muscling into his territory.
Exactly, they're costing him money.
Yeah, mutating all of his customers into snake people.
Stay in your own neighborhood, the ocean.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, I don't think all the backups in this were on the app here. I should have pulled this out of the the floppy out of this, but
yeah, I've got the floppies for most of these tonight.
The first backup penciler, Mark Bagley. That's who should have been drawing this story, Mark Bagley.
I know. He does do the Daredevil annual that we're going to discuss soon.
Oh yeah, trust me.
That is good at least. But yeah, he does a masterful retelling of Spider-Man's origin.
Yes.
Him and Jerry Conway, yeah. And then we get a little bit of a blurb about how Spider-Man's spider sense works.
Yep.
For 3 pages. And then we have an adorable story. Aunt May, in her first solo adventure, Standards of Behavior, written by Jerry Conway. And it's about Nick Katzenberg going to her boarding house. This is back when she had the boarding house.
Yep.
And doing a little interview and trying to get at some dirt on Peter. And Peter as Spider-Man is eavesdropping outside the window the whole time. And then the culmination of it, Aunt May gets a broom out and she basically kicks his ass out the door.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, it was so funny. We also have Spider-Man's top 30 villain countdown, drawn by Fred Hembeck.
That was actually on the app. Yeah.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know why.
That's funny.
Someone knocked out. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And another Fred Hembeck, Spidey versus JJJ.
Yep.
And then finally, the last story of the annual is Chapter 4 of the Saga of the Serpent Crown, Cataclysm.
Yes. All right. We want the. Shall we get to this one? We got the synopsis.
Yes.
Of this.
Yeah.
The Watcher continue. Oh wait. Hold on. Let's scroll up. Let me get. I'll do the credits here because. All right. Yeah. Saga of the Serpent Crown, Cataclysm. Peter Sanderson, writer again. Mark Bagley, penciler. Keith Williams, inker. Colors Mark Siri. Letterer Jade Moed, and editors Mark Grunwald and Gregory Wright. So yeah, once again, like Mark Bagley doing 2 backups in this annual, which look way better than their main story.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, those made up for it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The
Watcher continues detailing the history of the Serpent Crown. He explains that 20,000 years ago, the second host of Celestials came to Earth to follow up on their experiments. They discovered that the deviants of Lemuria had enslaved humanity. However, there are forces at work to try and oust the deviant occupation. One such man was the alchemist known as Atra, who was working on a weapon to vanquish their enslavers. This was the Serpent Crown, a device that was constructed by alchemists with the help of the dreaded Serpent Men. Meanwhile, the city of Atlantis was under attack by deviant forces. The only beings opposing the deviants is Lord Camus, the ruler of Atlantis, and his wife Zartra. With the battle going poorly, Camus ordered the lava flows around the island open. This destroys the deviant invasion fleets, but also doomed Atlantis to sink to the bottom of the ocean. As Zartra fell to the blade of the Lemurian warrior known as Nolem, Atra sacrificed his daughter to power the Serpent Crown. At the same moment, the deviant ruler known as Farad is informed of the arrival of the Celestials and orders their ship shot down, because that's going to work. As Camus lamented the death of his bride, Atra attempted to use the Serpent Crown to eliminate Farag. However, much to his horror, Farad is a devout worshiper of Set and is protected from the Serpent Crown's power. It's at this moment that the deviants attempted to attack the Celestials. In retaliation for this, the space gods used their power to sink the islands of Atlantis and Lemuria. As the Eternals came to help those ravaged by the ensuing flooding, the Celestials imprisoned the traitorous Dreaming Celestial. Among the wreckage of Lemuria remain the bodies of Atra and Farad, still grappling for the Serpent Crown. Remember them, kids.
Yes.
Man, we've been getting a lot of Dreaming Celestial lately.
I know, yeah. It's been showing up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
This reminded me that I need to go back and reread the comics that feature this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This Atlantis stuff with the deviants and the
Yes,
because I bet that's cracking good. I haven't read any of that Atlantis stuff. But I have to laugh every time that the deviants open fire on the Celestial ship. It's like, what do you think that you're going to accomplish? What do you think you're going to accomplish against these space gods that are as old as the universe itself, that created you lot in the first place, and their technology is so infinitely beyond yours? I laugh at that every time.
I know.
Firing upon the celestial ship. It's like, okay, all right. I guess you guys have a collective death wish. Okay.
I'm going to throw this rock at a tornado and stop it.
Yeah. So funny.
Oh, man.
Have you read any of that stuff, Phil? Any of that Atlantean stuff?
Oh, I don't think if I did, it's been many, many, many years.
Yeah, it says in the beginning of this chapter, it says something recognizing the works of Jack Kirby, Steve Gerber, and Howard Chaykin. So they must have done a bunch of anthology stuff in there around that time.
Oh, another art continuity error from that main story. Liefeld leading us down again. The Lemurians are all drawn to resemble Gahar rather than Lyra, who is actually from Lemuria, while Gahar is a deviant, and none of his
Right.
race look the same.
Yes.
Good job, Liefeld.
Yeah. And some of the Lemurians have green skin. Some of them have blue skin. Yeah. Yeesh.
Well, he stuck his foot in his mouth this time, kids. Good thing it's so small. Okay, yeah, in that story, the plot was by Jerry Conway. The script was by David Michelini. So,
okay.
I'm always curious how that breaks down.
I know, yeah.
All right, so any other thoughts on this one, or shall we get to?
No, I think we've covered that one pretty good.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna get to the Punisher Annual 2 special guest Moon Knight.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, there we go. Night fight.
Punisher. That cover, man. It's like the Punisher either trying to kill him or F him, something.
Or both.
Yeah. Are you accusing Frank Castle of necrophilia? Is that what you're attempting necrophilia?
It should be noted in this issue too that Moon Knight is the mentally stable one out of the two of these individuals in this issue.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. Yeah, Moon Knight, the normal one here, kids. All right, I'll do the credits, but yes, I have no synopsis for this. So, all right, Punisher Annual 2 from September 1989. Night Fight, Night with a K. Writer Mike Barron, penciler and inker Bill Reinhold, colorist friend of a friend Gregory Wright, letterer Janice Chiang, and editor Carl Potts. All right, so we'll have to walk through this one here. Oh, and when we get to the serpent crow or the backup at the end, yeah, I got something else to say here.
Oh, okay.
All right. But yeah.
We open with Mark Spector bearing witness to a horrific scene inside of a pet store as this dude with serpentine eyes calmly takes a rat out of a cage and just eats it in broad daylight in front of everybody.
Oh yeah, gerbil. Yeah, why is this? And Mark's like, that's pretty strange. So he follows the guy.
That's something you don't see every day.
Had Mark Spector Moon Knight started yet? Oh yeah.
I don't think so. I think this was just before it started.
So I wonder if this is also acting as a kind of like a promotion for, oh hey, guess what? Moon Knight's getting his own book again soon.
Right.
Kids.
Yeah. I'm gonna look that up actually because I can't remember when that first issue came out.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. That's kind of the Mark Spector Moon Knight series. That's kind of when they were like, yeah, they got rid of the different personalities. Almost like
they're trying to make him more like an established hero.
Yes.
In the Marvel universe, and they had him guest starring in everybody else's books. And they had everybody guest starring in his books.
Oh no, he might cover date June 1989. The book might wait. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this
might have just started. Like yeah.
Okay, yeah, and this was, I think, July, right?
Let's see. Cover date on this one was September '89. So
September. Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah, it was a good. That was a good way to promote the new book. Yeah.
yeah. Yes, they were playing. Yeah, they played down that yes, his mental issues, and yes, they were almost they're portraying him. 1989, they're almost portraying him as some kind of Cape Crusader.
Batman, my favorite character.
Imagine that.
All right, so he follows this guy to the Save Our Society.
SOS.
Yes. But yeah, Frenchie's basically doing the homework. She's a privately funded by nonprofit or dedicated to curing drug addicts. Privately funded by physicians. They accept user fees, particularly from their celebrity clients.
Celebrity clients.
Mark's like, okay, it's just like East Coast Betty Ford Clinic, but why would that man eat a gerbil?
Yeah. And speaking of drug addicts, the next scene we have the first appearance of the Punisher in this issue, who goes knocking on the door of a drug den.
Yeah.
And bursts his way in and starts mowing them down in a typical Punisher fashion.
So he's looking for this guy, Newton, and he said, this one says, go to the storefront clinic, the new place on Clock Street. So he does. He pretends to be from the Department of Social Services. I'm here to verify your use of federal funds.
Just happens to be SOS.
Yes. The guy says she's received no federal funds. He wants to speak with the director, but the guy says she isn't in right now.
Yes, remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not in. Give me your phone number. I can't do that. Who is your director? Leona Hiss. This is the point. If this was a G.I. Joe comic, kids, you know that was the Baroness.
Yeah. The only other obvious thing would be if her name was Vivian Peroni or something like that.
So yeah, okay, 3 guesses who Leona Hiss is going to be, kids.
Leona Hiss.
But then so then Punisher meets up with Microchip, and they do their own homework. So basically, all roads are leading to. Well, first they lead to this storefront on Clock Street. Because
this was great. This is back in the Microchip days.
Yeah.
I miss those days, the Punisher. Those were good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Frank's watching this, the storefront, and that's when he's like, oh, what's this? Some kind of high-tech chopper?
No, it's a moon copter.
Moon Knight. Yeah, he shows up and they shake hands. I was ready for the Punisher to be like, what are you doing here? Get the F out of here. Costumes.
And this is their first meeting. He goes, about time we met. And they shake hands. He goes, I presume we're both interested in Save Our Society. And they had another team up after this in Mark Spector Moon Knight, where they faced Flag Smasher and Ultimatum.
Oh, yeah.
Which was, I think, an Acts of Vengeance thing.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. And then later on, they were these two, Spider-Man, Nova, Night
Thrasher, Darkhawk.
Yeah, Darkhawk and Round Robin. Yes. Over in,
one of my personal favorites. I love that story.
Like at one of the Spider-Man summer events. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that one. So then they team up and they take the zip line over to the next building.
Yeah, Mark drop kicks some guy.
He's like, how would you take this guy out? That's how.
Yes. And then as they come down the stairs, oh look, it's a black mamba, but it's comatose from the cold. Remember that, kids. Snakes don't like cold.
Good thing the landlord doesn't heat these buildings, huh?
Yes. So So yeah, you see this guy injecting another guy. Punisher's like, "Hello, Ralph. I didn't know you had a license to practice medicine, and only last week you were a lousy junkie."
Drop the needle.
And once again, he seems to have snake eyes and a snake tongue.
Yeah. Starts hissing at him. Throws the needle at him.
So now all of a sudden we're battling snake men.
Yeah, they start coming in through the vent, the air ducts and stuff. Frank just opens fire and just starts blowing them away. Mark says, "What have we stumbled into? They move slow, but they don't feel any pain." Frank says, "It's the cold."
Yep. But yeah, he's like, "You saw Ralph eat a gerbil. Snakes eat gerbils. This place looks like a herpetology lab." And yeah, Frank recognized one of the guys said, "Used to be a crackhead. Now look at him. Mouth sores are gone, and his skin, it's so dry."
This one's got fingers like they were stuck in a pencil sharpener.
But then one's got a card for the place on Long Island, and it's like last week he was a junkie with armful of holes, and this week he's a front man for a fancy Long Island cure club. So yeah, Moon Knight offers him a ride in his moon copter and takes him back to the mansion. I'm just like, man, he's being pretty open with his secret identity.
I was surprised by that too. I was like, what's this? He's taking him back to the mansion. He's hanging around with his
mask off and everything.
Taking his mask off. It's like, geez, you gonna give him your social security number too while you're at it?
Because that's the thing. I don't think he was like this with like Spider-Man or anybody.
No.
Did he tell you about
Daredevil? No.
You know, I'm like, really? You're gonna trust the Punisher over like Spider-Man and Daredevil?
Yeah. Crazy, right? I mean, in Mike Barron's defense, he didn't write a lot of Moon Knight stuff.
Yeah, true.
Like, this is unknown territory for Mike Barron for the most part.
So yeah, they're putting pieces together at the mansion. It's
with Frenchie.
Talking about the old estate, and then Mark, I ran a check on cult leaders, and you'll never guess who was released from federal prison last month. Viper. Boy, I didn't know you tried to assassinate the president. You got parole that quick.
Yeah, right. Within the same year.
Yeah.
No Guantanamo Bay for her.
Prove I turned him into a snake. Prove it. Your name's the Viper. Circumstantial evidence.
Diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked.
Can't believe that Frank doesn't know who she is. And there's like Frenchie. She used to head up that fascist group Hydra. Then she went solo. She was busted with the so-called snake riot in Washington last. Frank didn't hear about the riot. I'm like, what did you hear about a riot in D.C.?
That man sees the ocean, but not the waves. Let's put it.
I know, but I thought any criminal activity, big or small, he was kind of like tuned into, and it was all over the news.
I don't know, man.
He said, Frenchie says, I also learned that Viper was recently sprung from prison by Dr. Tyrone.
Dr. Tyrone. Yes. Who we're going to see more of in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, Tyrone's the one we want.
Yeah.
So then they're like, okay, here's the idea. Get in. So now we go up there and Viper doing her best Catwoman impression with that whip.
Whipping him right in the face, too.
I mean, not quite Jim Fallon chest there, but I mean, she's a decent Catwoman impression.
Yeah, that is a precursor to be certain. Yeah, and these snake guys are just indiscriminately eating these poor like rabbits and poor animals they've got in these cages. Yikes.
I mean, she whips the one guy in the face and backhands the other one just because they don't address her as Madam Viper.
Yeah, she has a thing with discipline.
I mean, I don't think they really addressed it here, but I mean, she's like a nihilist. She basically just wants to watch
Yeah.
it burn.
Right.
Watch it all burn.
Yeah.
But then they get a call, and her guy says, "Yeah, our South Bronx clinic was hit tonight. Newton's dead. What? Who? We don't know." And she's like, "Quick! They could be coming at any moment." She figures it has to be Shield.
Mm-hmm.
But then Mark and Frank.
I love these panels where they're gliding down. It's fantastic. Yeah.
So they take out more snake men who are guarding the outside.
I love that Frank with hang gliding. He's hang gliding with one hand and shooting them with the other.
With an Uzi, I know.
With an Uzi. That's some talent. Make no mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they thought it was a mass hallucination what happened in Washington, and now all of a sudden they're like, "There was no mass hallucination. They really are snake men." I'm like, "Didn't you just fight snake men 5 minutes ago? What are you? Did you come to that conclusion back in the Bronx?"
There was a big propaganda thing. They wanted it to look like a mass hallucination because that way they could cover up the fact that Reagan got mutated during that whole episode. They can conveniently just gloss over the fact that happened.
Yes, that's not the American people know that Ronald Reagan was turned into a snake man and got punched in the face by Steve Rogers.
Yeah. Good old Mark Grunwald. Oh my God, I love that man so much.
I know. I love Frank. Let's check the house. Mark, why not? Who needs the element of surprise anyway?
He just shoots the windows out. Which wasn't a good idea because right after he does that, the Viper comes down and gives him the jab with the needle.
Yeah. I love the minute he shoots out the window. Mark's like, "I'm going to go another way." But yeah, she injects Frank and he starts hallucinating.
He immediately goes nuts. I'll kill you, he says. I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you. And just starts lighting up the place.
Yeah, it really didn't work the Viper's advantage because he's still shooting at her.
Yeah. Except now he's even more deranged.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And again, and then Mark's battling more snake men. He's like, "I heard a lot of gunfire." Then it stopped. The time to start worrying about Punisher is when the gunfire stopped.
Yes. I think that might be my favorite piece of dialogue in this whole issue.
Yeah. And again, like the snake men are wearing thermal packs, trying to get them moving quicker.
I liked that touch. That was cool.
The Viper's like, I guess we're gonna have to design more efficient thermal packs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're wearing some type of bodysuits which help insulate their reptilian hides.
Yeah. Then she ejects her right hand man, and she's like, "This will charge you with great strength long enough for me to escape. Stop that." It's a big guy.
He does give Moon Knight quite a fight.
Yeah, because he's like smacking him in the head and stuff with those nunchucks. Nothing.
Yeah. This is back when Moon Knight was rocking just the nunchucks and the crescent darts, and that was it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he tackles him out a window. It's like, "Got a regular nuclear generator back there, don't you?" And rips that the thermal thing off his back and knocks him. Then he thinks, "I better find the Punisher."
He sees the rocket take off with the Viper in it.
Yep. Then Frank's hallucinating. He's like, "Snake man." He's like, "Hold it, buddy. I'm Moon Knight, remember? You're all trash."
You're all trash. And then I love this part. Moon Knight giving him the old razzle dazzle with his crescent darts. He's doing like this hypnotic, like fast handwork. It's amazing.
So he doesn't even touch him, does he? Because Frank just starts going into convulsions.
I think that actually might be my favorite part of the issue because rather than it just being a mindless slugfest of, okay, we could have written it as Moon Knight just takes his nunchucks out and just beats the hell out of Frank until he's unconscious. Instead, he does this unexpected stuff with the hypnosis. I just love it. I think it's so cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Mm-hmm. So Mark takes him back to the mansion once again, and the Punisher basically slept through it. Mark tells him he's out for 2 days.
Yeah, he's gonna piss out the he's gonna piss out the toxin eventually.
Exactly.
Work its way through its system.
So Frank says he has irons in the fire, and Mark's like, you know where to find me. Thanks for your help. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. Punisher says, what next? And Frank says, you'll read about it in the papers. So it was a decent story, but it almost seems like this should have been a Moon Knight annual almost more than a Punisher annual.
It does feel like more of a Moon Knight story, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does. Although I guess maybe, like we said, maybe it's just because they were promoting the Moon Knight book. But
yeah, for some reason I had thought that this came out before that series started, but I guess I've been wrong all this time. That's funny. Yeah, I thought that these annuals came out in the summertime.
I mean, the cover date was September, so maybe it might have come out in like July or August. So.
Yeah. But I love the artwork of Bill Reinhold. I wish that he had done more Moon Knight, because I just thought his rendition of Moon Knight was so good in this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he drew him somewhere else too. I can't remember. Maybe it was a Solo Avengers or some other story. But yeah, anytime that he drew Moon Knight, I was happy about it. He made him look so good.
I mean, I kind of like maybe just there wasn't room in the story that Punisher basically just works with Moon Knight, doesn't like give him a hard time or anything.
Yeah, because if they had ended up fighting at the beginning, like that would have taken up more story time.
Yes.
And this was a pretty packed story. Like there was a lot going on here. You had the Viper and the Snake Man and the SOS stuff, and yeah, there was a lot of story here. So I like what they did with it.
Yeah, because these early days, it seems like Frank kind of respected Mark as like a professional and stuff. Nowadays, it's like, oh, how's your fake god, Spectre? Oh, fine. How's your dead family, Frank?
Yeah, me and Ray were commenting on that too. I was like, oh, back in the day when they actually liked each other. Look at this. They're shaking hands. He's inviting him back to the mansion. Like, look at this. This is so warm and fuzzy and happy.
Again, a lot of people like, Frank, I don't know if he likes Spider-Man, but he thinks he's too soft on crime and stuff. But it seems like he respected Mark on a certain level.
Yeah. It's funny, right?
Yeah. All right, so did we get any other backups? Because the only other thing in here is the Saga of the Serpent Crown on the app.
I seem to remember, I don't have the floppy of this one out, but I think there was like a microchip story.
There's one called Dark Seeker, and then Punisher's Fighting Techniques.
Yeah, that Dark Seeker, that was a dark story. Yeah, that was about some refugees that were coming over from like Singapore or something on a boat. And they like did this lottery on the way over to see who was going to get killed and eaten by the rest of the passengers. And it ended up being this kid.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a dark story. I remember reading that at like age 11 thinking, oh my God, what is this? They showed a panel of them holding the kid's head under the water and drowning him. I was like, oh my word.
Yeah, we learned at a young age, everyone. Yeah, don't read Punisher for any happy or lucky story.
Yeah, you're not going to get any cheery, happy stuff in the Punisher, even in the backup stories.
You want a happy ending, maybe read a Spider-Man or something, or an Avenger or something. No, not Punisher.
No.
And then I guess the other one was just on this Punisher's Fighting Techniques.
Yeah, and I remember that was pretty good. That had some Jim Lee artwork.
I was going to say, Jim Lee penciler. It says, yeah, I'm sure it looked beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, and then here's what I wanted to bring up about the Saga of the Serpent Crown Part 5. I think it got edited on the app.
I think you're right, because it only got like a couple pages of it.
It's only 2 pages on the app, because the first page is just like a big ass text page, just about.
Oh, yeah. What's that about?
Well, you know what I think it is? I think they had... I don't know
Conan.
because it mentions Conan. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Conan is all through this. this chapter of
Probably because
the
there was only
saga of
that
the Serpent
page and the
Crown.
last page on the app. Yeah.
That is so funny.
So I guess I was surprised they were going to be able to mention his name, but I guess they can. They just can't use the art.
They can't use the art. Oh
Yeah.
my
So
god.
I mean, it's basically just a big ass paragraph on a cloud, kids.
Yeah. What a
Watch
mess.
these
That's so
icons, yeah.
stupid. They shouldn't have even put any of it on there if they can't put. Oh, that's so dumb.
I know that's so weird. It's
God.
like you know what? I guess it's like they couldn't reprint that stuff once they lost the rights, but it should have been like, whatever we did previously before the, whatever business went down, we could do that, but
yeah, that's just it. Does that mean that Marvel can never reprint any of the decades worth of Conan comics that they produced?
I mean, they had Conan for a few years, not too long ago, not too long ago when they did Savage Avengers and stuff. I can't remember if they reprinted any stuff, but I think he's gone again. So it's like, I don't know what the hell.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that they would still be able to do the epic collections and stuff of the old Conan comic books.
I don't know.
But I'm sure that that's been shot down. It's so silly.
I mean, I don't know if it's just they don't want to pay for the rights. Do they think it's not worth it or something? I mean, I'm
sure there's a bunch of legalities.
I wasn't into a lot of the old Conan stuff, but I've talked to so many people who are huge Conan fans.
Yeah, there's a huge market for it out there. People love this stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh my god! Yeah. The one of the many talks we had with JMD Mateus, him and Charlie were just bonded over old Conan stuff.
Oh nice! Yeah. Oh nice! Yeah. Yeah, I have a handful of it. It's some of the old John Buscema and Roy Thomas. Oh, God, it's good. I have probably 12 or 13 issues of that. It's fantastic. That stuff's pretty dark too.
Because I think that's another one they can't reprint. What is that? That What If issue where it's basically like Wolverine versus Conan or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they can reprint that or put that on the app or anything.
Yeah, anything with Conan in it probably now. They can't put it on there.
I mean, I guess I could read this big paragraph. That might be like the synopsis for I guess this is wearing the Cobra crown. Thoth-Amon set about to conquer nations and restore Set's role of the earth. He entranced King Fredrugo of Zengaria and forced him to abdicate his throne. But despite promising he would make Fredrugo betroth his daughter, the Princess Royal Chabella, to his ally, Duke Villagro, Thoth-Amon made himself armies to conquer the world. However, when he removed the Cobra crown to don the Zengaran crown, Villagro seized it, claiming its power. Unlike the serpent crown, Set could not control those who wore the Cobra crown, allowing Villagro to vengefully use its mystic might against Thoth-Amon. While they damn app. The page turned and it wasn't letting me go back. All right. When they battled, Conan, the greatest warrior of the Hyborian age and the chosen champion of the gods of light against the forces of Set, led his army against Thoth-Amon, the two longtime enemies meeting face to face for the first time. Distracted by battling both Villagro and the champion, Thoth-Amon let his control over King Fredrugo falter, and the dazed king realized he had been ensorcelled after Thoth-Amon killed Villagro. Conan and Zingara's armies battled Thoth-Amon's loyalists. During the melee, Thoth-Amon realized Villagro's insane mind had exhausted the power of the Cobra crown, rendering it useless. He subsequently fled. The enmity between Thoth-Amon and Conan continued for decades, even after Conan became the king of Aquilonia with the help of his loyal soldiers and son Khan. Conan thwarted Thoth-Amon's every scheme and eventually succeeded in exterminating Thoth-Amon's allies, the last of the original Serpent Men, and that's all printed on that cloud on the first page.
All of that text.
Yes, between Uatu's word bubbles. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because Uatu's saying, Uatu saw how the serpent crown talisman of the serpent demon Set was lost in the sinking of Lemuria, but Set eventually brought about the creation of another such power object known as the Cobra crown, and around 12,000 years ago he saw to it that it fell into the hands of the most sinister figure of the Hyborian age, Thoth-Amon, wizard, lord of the land of Stygia. So And then we just get the last page. Eventually, the age of Thothamon and Stygia came to an end, and the civilization of ancient Egypt rose in its stead.
And then we get a nice little blurb with Seth
Yes.
from the Egyptian pantheon.
Who basically, making all the believers think he is Set.
Mm-hmm.
He says, yeah, call me Seth. And then Uatu says, in his dimension, the serpent god Set writhed in fury. For though this deception, this young death god had made himself heir to his name and all his worshippers on earth, Set would have to look elsewhere for new followers, and eventually he would find them.
Yes. As we will discover in the next episode.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, look at that Bagley art. Look at that snake. Look at that.
So good.
Yeah,
he's fantastic.
That's the thing. Liefeld's art's bad enough, but then you got Bagley stuff to compare.
I know.
To.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. So, any other thoughts or anything else on these?
No,
Justin?
I think we wrapped them up pretty good.
Yeah.
Atlantis Attacks is chugging right along.
That's right. Time flies when you're battling Snake Men.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, you know what though? Is this the first event we've done where Punisher hasn't ended the issue with a bazooka?
That's true. Actually, you're right. You're right.
Actually, it ended with Mark Spector picking him up and taking him home.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, it broke the trend.
Yeah. All right. Forget that. Does he pick it back up next? Because it wasn't the year after Punisher's part of Life Form, so doesn't he?
Oh, that's it.
Up?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was 90, wasn't it? Yeah, 1990. Yeah.
So we kind of took a break between, yeah. Don't worry, kids, next year that bazooka will be back.
Yeah. Yep. And he'll be using it in full effect.
Exactly. All right, kids. So yes, next time we're gonna record this right after this. So won't have time to get in your feedback. Although you can still send it in. We'll read it in a future episode. Because again, we still got weeks of Atlantis Attacks to go here. Next episode will be Spectacular Spider-Man Annual 9 and Daredevil Annual 5. Or 4B, as some people call it. And then in 2 weeks, we'll get to Avengers Annual 18 and New Mutant 76. Well, this is not. This is not the annual.
I don't know who's doing the artwork in the actual issue, so we might be safe.
But the week after, New Mutants Annual 5. Oh God. Part 6 is New Mutants Annual 5 and X Factor Annual 4.
Oh my word!
You doing both of those?
No, X Factor is the John Byrne one.
Oh, thank God.
So that's like 2 totally different worlds there. Wow.
For a second, I almost had a heart attack. I thought he was doing both.
No, I think if I remember right, it's just this Amazing Spider-Man and the New Mutants one. I think that's all we have to suffer through.
Whew, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I know, right?
Yes. That'll be part 6. And then part 7, Web of Spider-Man Annual 5 and West Coast Avengers 56. So if not before, oh no, he's in that X Factor Annual. So yeah, if not before, by part 6 and 7, you know who's coming back, kids.
A tumor.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
That's right, kids. So yes, make sure you say your prayers, summon him correctly.
A tumor.
All right. Send us your thoughts. Tuma. All right. So send us your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Get
Yes.
the
Get
Lunatics
the brand new stuff.
or the classics. We won't judge you, except I will. Lilith and Ray. And of course, again, Lilith demands. I think Viper's bad. Lilith demands that you rain random money on us through the Cash App link.
Make it rain.
She might whip you in the face too.
Oh, consensually,
If you're lucky.
Yes. But yes. So please don't make us be those metaphorical girls dancing on the pole before the Punisher comes in and starts blasting the place.
So she was just working a stripper pole down at Divas.
Strip clubs giving a whole new meaning to snake men.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And of course the Patreon, where we'll give you exclusive content every month for the Patreon Elite, like this.
Yes. Join me in the Patreon Elite. You get all the perks, all the old archive material, including the worst superhero movie brackets.
All the uncensored Lilith Hellfire. Oh, you know what she was saying this morning when I was doing this spiel? She was saying, I don't know when, but she says we should do the best superhero movie brackets.
Yes. I
and
love that
then
idea.
And then we both said, well, who's going to get topless this time? And then we were just like, oh, I think you're taking one for the team, Justin. I was like, oh,
if I got to do it, I'll do it.
I was like, oh, F, Lilith ain't going to do it. So it's going to be you or me. So. More topless content.
Maybe I'll get us some more subscribers.
Oh my! Get some biscuits to subscribe,
and some more for my OnlyFans while I'm at it.
There you go.
Cross promotion.
Oh, breaking news! Breaking news! Justin has an OnlyFans. Maybe we can finally get Nor to subscribe. I tell him you're topless on here. All right. All right. So yes, all right. So if you want this this buttered biscuit topless, yes, make sure to subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/CapesandLunatics, or you can find the whole thing, everything at tubespace.ao/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.ao/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
I think Lilith was talking about doing something naughty the one time, and I'm like, you know how much I could charge Ray for that? Come on. I'm like, I think even you, I think just for the sick curiosity, you'd be like, oh yeah, just out of curiosity, be like, yeah, let me see that. I ain't right, kids. I ain't right. I'll sell you all out if the money's right. All right.
Living in America.
Speaking of this fabulous biscuit, yes, you can hear him here every week on Marvel Tales. You can hear him at least once a month on X-Men Classics here, once a month on Energon Universe, talking the new Transformers and G.I. Joe coming out of Image with me and Russell. Over on Capes Lunatic Sidekicks, you can hear him once a month, at least once a month on We Are the Night,
the Batman podcast,
talking all things Azrael. And like I said, every once in a while he shows up on another episode with me and Lilith, and he'll drop in from time to time on Electric Mullet, the Superman podcast.
That's right. I will be showing up there for quite a few episodes.
3-episode run on Exile. Yeah. All right, but that's not the only places he appears. So besides that OnlyFans, Justin, tell them where else he appears.
You can also find me every month at Gamma Charge with Russell, where we're talking about the Incredible Hulk and the Sensational She-Hulk. We have an interview with writer David Pepose coming out, so do check that out. And on Predator and Prey, the Yocha podcast, we are joined by the aforementioned High Priest of Khonshu Ray. And we are currently discussing some of the classic Dark Horse Predator comics. And last but not least, the Lost Library of Legends, my solo show, is coming out with a new episode very soon based on a 1993 miniseries from Image called Wildstar.
Going back to the 90s here, bitch. It's me, your old pal, the Owl. I'm gonna eat this up with a fork and spoon. Double biscuits.
Do you remember every moment of those drunk videos?
Oh, I do.
Okay. You're like, I did it before. I remember now.
I do. Those are my unboxing videos.
That's right. That's right. I hope to get another one this year.
Oh, yes, every year. I try to time it for the week of my birthday.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Hopefully I don't have to subscribe to the OnlyFans or nothing. Oh. All right, kids. Thanks for joining us again. Next episode, more Spider-Man's gonna be in both issues. But all right,
yes,
Spectacular Spider-Man Annual 9, guest starring Cloak and Dagger, and Daredevil Annual 5, guest starring Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Yes, things are gonna get crazy real quick here.
Get more Tyrannus, get more Leona Hiss.
Good old Leona.
Leona.
And some more Mark Bagley.
All right. Come back next time and watch those feet.